almost even stronger here than it is inside the house. I mean, go figure. I guess the router's just right over here. It's just right over there. It's beautiful today. I'm kind of procrastinating right this moment. I'm procrastinating. I need to clean house. I got house guests coming tomorrow. I hate cleaning house. I guess that's the reason why the house is so damn cluttered. But you know, I want to talk about how hard YouTube has been. This fall it's been pretty hard. It seems like everything I tried to do came to a halt. Just a halt. Just a halt. Everything just stopped. I was trying to, produce higher quality content, doing shows with guests and everything like that, and then it come in like July and August, doing painting videos and so forth, but other things and AI poetry and other things, and then something happened in September, some big massive family blowout, and I'm still suffering the aftermath of that right now. And then there was a death in the family. Of course, it wasn't a relative, just a person who was his parents and my mother's parents were best friends, and this is like going back into like 100 years ago. So it's like the families had been intertwined for the last 100 years roughly. And so this fellow that passed on, he was 82, a fairly wealthy person, and had lived a long time with Parkinson's disease. And so most people with Parkinson's don't live into their 80s, but he lived into his 80s. He passed away like 3 or 4 weeks ago. His best friend, who was my first cousin once removed, my mom's first cousin, he and his son got run over by a car a year ago, August. And then so when Jerry's best friend passed on, he had really nobody, because he is a wealthy person, and wealthy people don't have friends, because people are always looking to wealthy people for money or whatever. The wealthy people are often paranoid about friends, and they don't have friends. And so, anyways, I have house guests coming over tomorrow, so I got to clean the house. But you don't give a shit about this. I talk about YouTube. YouTube is hard, and what's hard about YouTube is trying to continually come up with content all the time over the years. And this is my 4th year doing this channel, not my 4th year doing YouTube. This is my 4th year doing this channel. And welcome, Angie Burke, CS, yeah. Coogies. I'm standing out in the sun, procrastinating. That's what I'm doing. Talking about how hard YouTube is. I think there's we try to shield the microphones from the wind, and how hard YouTube is. And I was just thinking today just about how much I miss Roots and Waves. And this is probably what she was feeling before she backed out of YouTube and deleted her channels and everything. Oh, Rumble is better? Yeah, maybe. Maybe we should try that. I might try that. I was like, if I can afford some simulcasting software, I might. I would like to be able to simulcast onto more than one channel. That's something I want to do. But I got to get over this week. I mean, I got to like thoroughly kind of try to deep. I can't do a deep clean. I've got to do something that seems like a deep clean in a matter of like 3 or 4 hours before people come. Well, Angie, YouTube doesn't pay me a single dime because I haven't reached the 4,000 hour benchmark to be even monetized. And so I am over 1,000 subs, but that's as much as I've gotten there. So is this, according to the Wi-Fi meter, this stream should be clear. It should be clear, but it probably isn't. Because I think about that, how do you, it's not necessarily the platform and that makes it hard, but it's the whole thing of having to come up with stuff all the time that makes it hard. Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about, I guess the last time I was like on Rumble, and I've seen all those gun ads, and I think, well, God, I don't know if I want gun ads on my show, on my program, and and so that was really kind of what it boiled down to. I kind of just but I think it's kind of hard to get viewers and everything else on Rumble. It may be easier to monetize, but yeah. But I need to get back to doing, kind of trying to achieve my goals, but it's kind of hard. I've been having a real hard time just getting motivated, and then I have these impossible things that I kind of set for myself, like cleaning my decluttering my studio space so that I can use other things and to be able to invite a computer into my channel life. But it's kind of hard. But anyways, this is a boring conversation, I understand. And the hard things about YouTube is like I lost 1,000 watch hours in the last 2 months, and simply because a year ago, August and September, I gained 1,000 hours in 2 months, and YouTube calculates watch time on a 365-day period. So whatever you did 366 days ago drops off. So if you got like 100 hours 366 days ago, then those hours just drop right off. And so, like, as I was trying to explain to Alexis Milner why I was like losing so much watch hours, and she, it's because of how watch hours are calculated, and you have a 365-day period in order to hit that 4,000 hour watch time. And if you don't make it, then you it's almost like you're starting over. But so you each successive day that you go beyond, that you're outside of that 365-day period, those hours drop off. Now, if you go on your analytics page, if you go to your analytics page, you can see your cumulative watch hours on your on everything. But you don't, that's not the tab to be looking at to even think about it. You have to look at the Earn tab, clear over on the far right, on the far bottom right. There's a tab in your analytic on your YouTube Studio. It has an Earn tab, and you look on that, and that tells you what your public watch hours are for that 365-day period. And so that's really the only metric you really want to look at. You don't want to look at the other one because you get your watch hours, and it kind of builds up, and you can see what they are over the course of a month, a 7-day period, or a 28-day period, or a 365-day period, or the lifetime. And you can just see, because for the lifetime of this channel, I've gotten over 4,000 hours, but I haven't gotten 4,000 hours in a 365-day period. So the hard part about it is how do you create content that people actually like? And so, and there is the conundrum that you're in, and you either be yourself, right? And you say, well, screw it. I'm just going to do my own thing, and nobody likes it. That's fine. But if that's what you want to do, is you want to reach those goals of monetization, well, then you have to do the YouTube thing. You have to do the YouTube thing. And then what is the YouTube thing? What is it that people like? What is it that people don't like? I mean, you can go in, you look at your videos, and you see the analytics. Oh, the average view time is like 30 seconds. Well, it's obviously, if your average view time is 30 seconds, it means that your content sucks. And so I have to face the fact that my content sucks. It's because what is there? There's like 2 people watching this, and therefore it's obvious that this little rant that I'm doing is not landing on people. It's not landing. Oh, Tina Woodruff, welcome. So whatever I'm saying is boring and nobody really wants to hear. So this content here, this whole piece of content that I'm doing sucks, because that's what I'm producing, is producing content that sucks. And up thumbnails up, yeah. Well, and you gotta. It's hard to say what thumbnails are. So when you do live content, it's hard to know what is good and what is not good. So I'm just sitting here. This is a short live stream where I'm kind of complaining a bit and ranting a little bit, and I'm not really giving anybody of anything of substance. I'm assuming, based on the fact that I got nobody's here. It's fine. I'm just sort of ranting a bit about how hard this YouTube experience has been. And where, when you first start out at YouTube, you think that your videos or whatever they are, that they're like God's gift to the world, and you think, oh, I'm just going to go viral anytime now. Well, you know what? I've only had like one video that I could even possibly classify it as a viral video, and I got like 10,000 views on it, and that was like a year ago, July 7th or something like that. And that was like totally amazing. And I had another amazing video experience just last August, where in the course of an hour I had almost like 1,000 people in my chat, and I got like 1,000 views in an hour. Yeah, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing exactly that, Tina. I am doing what I like, and but right now I'm just sort of complaining. I'm complaining about the whole process, but I'm kind of standing outside. It's kind of nice out here, Let me just turn the camera around, and you can see that nice big tree there. Big tree, and I got a lot of things I want to talk about. I'm really looking forward to having Taro Ask Backward on a week from, I think, Thursday again. And I had him on last Thursday. I think I just sort of did most of the talking. And the cows are here too. So you want to climb that tree? It's nice and tall. It's been here probably 200 years. Been here before there were people before the, well, there were still indigenous people here. It's before my people came. My people came to Oregon on the Oregon Trail. My mother's people came on the Oregon Trail. Some of them came by old automobiles, like just after the Great Depression, but some of them came in a covered wagon. I think they took a train from Chicago to Sacramento, and then from Sacramento up to Oregon City. They went on a covered wagon, but I don't know. I have to go look at that journal again. I have a journal of that journey, and it has exactly how much money they spent for the whole time to go from Ohio to Oregon City. And they came to Oregon to go to Forest Grove, to the Pacific University, to take a job they were pastors, to take a job as a chaplain or a professor at Pacific University. And that was the later part of the 1800s. And then there was like some other relatives from that same branch of the family, one of them that went over to China to be a missionary. And she started a college, which still exists today, is a college in China that one of my relatives founded as missionaries. I mean, I come from this long, strong line of Christians. My grandmother, however, was only culturally Christian. I kind of figured it out that if given the choice, she probably would have been an atheist or an agnostic anyway. She was pretty agnostic to the church. Her and her husband were kind of that way. They just sent their kids to yeah. So Tina, yeah, I'm a descendant of John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley from the Mayflower Compact, and so John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley, I think they had 13 children that all lived into adulthood. And so my Mayflower, the first generation Mayflower person was Hannah, her daughter Hannah. And so John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley were indentured servants to John Carver. And John Carver died in the first year or two after they came to America 404 years ago. 403. It was 1621. So 1621. And that's when my first point of entry is onto this continent, 1621. And so John Carver and Elizabeth Tilley were indentured servants to John Carver. John Carver and his wife passed on in the first year, and they inherited everything that John Carver had. And I think John Howland lived to be almost 90 years old. So they lived a long time, and then anyway, so that's kind of, there's that sense of adventure spirit. There's all that Christianity that I have, but I have a lot of my grandmothers in me who were like culturally Christian, or they had their own ideas, and I have my own ideas, and maybe I should just share that instead of these kinds of rants, and share my own ideas on what I think is going on. You know, I would really like, if I had like $300, I would bring Richard Carrier onto this channel. For Richard Carrier is an atheist scholar, and I've read quite a few of his books. Oh, my cousin, one of my first cousins, she married a physics professor and they did the genealogy down in. They took a trip to into Utah. I think it was into the Mormon headquarters, and they went through the into the libraries, and they did the genealogy down in I don't know what, can't remember the name of that town. My mother and her, they all kind of went. My mom went, and I was living in Seattle at that time, and so I never went anywhere. So no, the genealogy was done the old-fashioned way, not through DNA, but by going into the records down in Salt Lake City. It was Salt Lake City. Yeah, they did it in Salt Lake City, and so that's how they did it. But it's also my grandmother. She had a lot of records too. She had records, it was like in family Bibles and so forth. The records of because their family lived in this house in Ohio from like over 100 years, from like 1800 to like 1920. DNA and records, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what. Maybe that's what I should. I don't know if it's that interesting, because a lot of people have their deconstructing Christian experience. I never kind of went through that because I don't have any. I don't have any religious trauma. I have no religious trauma because my folks were liberals, and then their Christianity was really open and fairly liberal. My dad was like agnostic, almost atheist, and mom went to a liberal Lutheran church, and so yeah. So I became a Catholic in my late 20s, but I have no religious trauma. I grew up without religious trauma, and I was able to make up my own ideas and make up my own mind, and I was never chastised for my beliefs. I was never chastised for having a belief in reincarnation. I was never chastised for believing in or reading about ancient alien theory when I was a teenager. I was never chastised for having non-traditional Christian beliefs. And so I'm a non-traditional. I have there's this foundation. I have a foundation in both Protestant and Catholic Christianity, being from studies that I've done on my own, but I have like no religious trauma. And so having an experience where you have had no religious trauma, it's kind of a boring story, And so yeah, you had that whole experience of having your knuckles wrapped and having for going to Catholic school and asking too many questions and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so, because who wants to hear about somebody's story when they haven't had the religious trauma? Because we have all that deconstructing Christianity and so forth, but I never really I don't have that story. Don't have that story at all. And so, but I do have, I have a bunch of ideas, things that I have learned through the years. It's getting really windy here. I better, and I don't have my, you're just like getting blasted out by the wind. Well, I just came on for a few minutes. I'm going to be resuming more regular content after November 8th, because in November 7th and 8th I'm doing an art fair. I'm doing an art fair on November 7th and 8th, and I'm building content for that. So I paused videos for Tools of Fortune, and I'm until after the art fair concludes, and over the course of the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a massive amount of painting. I will share a little bit of the process on this channel, but for the most part, I'm not going to be doing any content, any serious content or anything like that until after November, like November 9th. And that's when I painting. I'm painting. What I'm painting, Tina, is hand painted greeting cards. No, they're blank on the inside. Hand painted greeting cards, mostly Christmas cards. And I'm going to be trying to do like 100 of these products over the course of the next 2 weeks. So doing 100 paintings in the next 2 weeks, that's what's going to be going on. But I have to clean house. This whole week is gone. My relative's coming over tomorrow. And the person coming over has a super nose, so I have to, and we have pets and so forth, so I have to get the pets. So yeah, it's not Hallmarks. Yeah, I do sell them. I can sell you. I can sell 20 cards shipped, I think, anywhere in the United States for $150. It takes me. Those cards take a little while to do, but that's my price for shipped in on continental United States, not to Alaska, not to Hawaii, unless the shipping rate is the same. But that's my price. I did a video yesterday, and I started working on one of those Christmas cards, the Christmas cards that I'm doing. And so when I get into that painting like that, and that kind of a heavy schedule of painting is really tiring. And so what you'll be getting from this channel is nothing but low effort content, just like this. Low effort content. All the high effort content. But I am going to be having a Tarot Ask Backward on in a week. And he's going to be talking a bit about his visions of the apocalypse and everything else that he's gotten. And I'm going to restrain myself from ranting about my point of view on that. And I'll be the good host, and I want to have other people on. So we're going to be working on upping the game for the content after the art fair in November. So anyways, I was only going to come on for just a couple minutes, and there's that tree again. Let's go take a look at that. Up there, this tree is about 200 years old. I'm going to go look around the yard here. The rose bush. Work smart, not hard. Yeah, low effort. Like this video is kind of low effort. But, you know, for having been on this channel, doing this for like 3 years, I can now do scriptless talking. I can talk scriptlessly and do a lot of good let's see if we can take a look at the cows. You know, I can talk stream of consciousness. I can do, if I got a lot of comments and so forth in the chat, I can deliver. Oh, look, there's cows out over there. I can deliver, you can't see them, they're in the shadow. I can deliver poetry that I just come up with, spin off right off the top of my head. I can do I can do that. That's pretty low effort because I've worked really, really hard in high mood. Yeah. They're kind of in the shade, but I guess I just get in a little sunlight before you have to go in and pull furniture out, and I got to clean a rug that has like the dog has like dog pee on it, and got to try to get that. But it's like a wool rug. It's a Persian wool rug, and you can't really shampoo them because of all that. But anyways, I don't know what people want, what people find interesting. Obviously, this conversation is not very interesting at all. That's the other thing about YouTube that make what YouTube does is it works on your ego. And so one of the things it does within that first year is you get that sense that okay, you're putting stuff out there, but you're not really taking yourself all that seriously, because, or at least I don't, because it's like the numbers tell you a different set of truth. I haven't really asked anybody to criticize my channel, because I got the analytics, and the analytics do their number. The analytics criticize me. With that 30-second like average view duration on a so you can live without you can live without a mirror. Yeah, the ego, yeah. So yeah. So I don't need anybody to go and do a thorough look over my channel and give me a bunch of criticism about what I'm not doing, because I do that myself. Every time I look at the GD analytics on every live stream that goes out, on every video that goes out, and so forth and etc. And so I know my content sucks for the most part, but still I do it. Still I do it. I'm looking forward to going back and doing card readings again on Tools of Fortune, but everything's for the most part just come to a stop until after the art fair is over with. And you can live without a yeah. Well, that's right. You do have to say that. Yeah. It also depends on what your goals are, Tina. And my goals, Tina, are to make a living as an artist. That's been my goal for 50 years, or, well, not quite 50 years, about 40 years has been to make a living as an artist. And I have seen maybe social media is a way to do that. Maybe social media is a way to do that. And so I don't want to go back to work for an employer anymore. And I would like social media or whatever as an artist to be my primary source of income. And that's kind of what that's what I want, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. And so you can say F them or whatever, but if you want to try to figure out how to make that work, you got a whole different calculus that you got to follow and try to figure out. And so that's the part when I said YouTube is hard. YouTube is hard. Well, Tina, I have been painting on live streams for over a year. And I've been painting on lives for over a year, and so I have a lot of that content, and that's also where you're looking at that. If you people don't have the patience to really, very few people have the patience to watch a painting live stream. However, last summer, a year ago, in summer 2024, I got 1,000 watch hours in a month from painting videos. But this year, all of those painting videos fell flat. So every painting video that I did fell flat this year, and so there was not. I didn't get the. I was hoping. Okay, all right, Tina. Well, I have lots of painting videos, and I do painting videos all the time. They're just not necessarily. They're not necessarily tutorials because I'm not doing painting tutorials, and you can. There's lots of people who do painting tutorials, and my painting style is not all that advanced because I'm still learning to paint myself. But anyways, I better get on with my job. And that is nice out today. Just look at it. Look how nice it is. It's like 60 degrees or so. I got to go stack wood too. I like other things that came to a stop is because I like trimmed my whole hedge out here, and I hurt my elbow really bad, and I just recovered enough that I can go out and do like lifting and stuff like that. So we'll be doing this task next of moving furniture out into the garage, moving stuff out, and moving stuff out of an entire room, and then running the vacuum cleaner over it and the mop. And oh, here comes the school bus. They don't want to be filmed, so there's no sense filming the school bus or people who don't want that. Well, everybody, see, a lot of people have different, levels of patience and so forth. And yeah. Well, I don't have much time left. I hate house cleaning. I hate house cleaning. I hate housework. I absolutely hate housework. It's my least favorite activity to do. I hate housework. I hate housework. Do you understand how much I hate cleaning and shit like that? Now I got to go do some mother effing cleaning and get the house ready for having house guests coming tomorrow. Tomorrow. I don't want to do any housework. I don't want to do the effing housework, But I gotta have it all ready for them to come tomorrow. Have the house cleaned up and so forth. I wonder what that message was. It probably was one of those banned words. I've done a lot of self-moderation here and weeded out words. Yeah, I know. I hate it. And I wish that I had some money because I would hire somebody to do housework. If we had some money here, that's just beyond. God, it's just the budgets are so GD tight right now. I haven't had a budget this tight since like, I don't know, like what, 2006 or 7, when I was counting every single penny and like 80% of my money was going to rent. And it was just so hard. Yeah, I am too. You need to come back on, Sarah. We can just go talk about YouTube. We can talk about whatever. I don't care. Or we can go on and talk about what it is that Jeff is talking about, because I find that absolutely fascinating, to talking about apocalyptic stuff and so forth. But yeah, we're not going to talk about how much we hate housework, But yeah, so after November 8th, that's when my schedule will open up, and I can go back to doing more higher effort content. Except I'm having Jeff come on. I'm hoping that Jeff comes on. You need a house fairy too? Yeah. Yeah. So maybe you can come on a more regular basis, Sarah, if that would be okay, or like maybe once a month or something like that. I mean, uh, maybe, and then when I get things online so that I can do like some maybe call in content. That I really want to do that. But yeah, a house fairy would. Yeah. Oh, you're cleaning right now, so I gotta get to work. Oh, I gotta get to work. It's so nice out there, though. Just look at the sun. Look at the beauty of it. Got that trees. Yeah, yeah, man. This is just like you could almost forget that we're heading into winter. Let me go back over to this rose bush. This rose bush here belonged to my grandmother. Is it? And so Tina, when I was talking about my Ohio roots, well, this rose bush originally came from Ohio, and the strain of it is over 100 years old. You have to make the bed before the hubby gets home. It's funny. I've never really liked that nickname, hubby. There's something about it that that bothers me. But that's just that's you. My sister uses that term, and other people use that term. You know, but that's just me. My own. I got a lot of words I don't like, and but anyway, that's the root of this of this rose plant is over 100 years old, and it blooms yellow, but it also, like, once every few years it blooms red. It blooms red. The rose hips are on there, and okay, you don't like it either. Okay, all right, all right. Because I often wondered if it's not like a derogatory term, but that's just me. It's kind of like I don't I not I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing. I'm just talking about the word. Uh, Yellow and red, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like an orangey color in the spring. It's like that for like like less than a month. Is that Joseph's coat? You mean what? Is this what this is? Or the roses itself? I don't know what Joseph's coat means. Hmm. All right. I'm gonna I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna thank you very much, Tina, for the. Oh, the road. I don't really know that. I don't know what it is actually. School bus is going back down the road. That means it's gonna be dark soon. What the hell am I gonna have for dinner? I mean, I don't have anything for the dog. I gotta take something out of the freezer. I should have done that last night. Joseph, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'll have to ask my uncle when he comes tomorrow. And yeah, yeah. So, anyways, okay, yeah. Leftover meatloaf and roasted potatoes. Yeah, I've been having to meal prep stuff because to try to stabilize my blood sugar, and try to keep myself from slipping into diabetes because I'm like at 6.4 on my A1C, and I've been on like the metformin for almost 2 years, but I didn't like do any any real major changes to my diet. So I've been having to do that now and try to, you know, it's really hard because I really like candy. Candy's like my favorite food, cake and candy and donuts and shit like that, like maple bars. So I've been trying to be better, trying to be better. Here comes somebody else up the road here. One of my neighbors here. Yeah. It's one of my neighbors, the only one who knows that I do tarot, the only one who knows who I do actually have this show. And so everyone else doesn't know that I do tarot or doesn't know that I do YouTube or anything like that. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the minimal amounts of people knowing. Yeah. Well, I've been pre-diabetic for, oh gosh, like over 20 years. Over 20 years I've been pre-diabetic. So yeah, maybe 30 years. My mom's been pre-diabetic. She's 85, and she's been pre-diabetic since she was 30 years old, maybe even younger. And so yeah, yeah. At because my Ohio grandmother, she was diabetic, but she was pre-diabetic for a long, long time too. I think she slipped into diabetes in her 70s, and yeah, skinny too. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to keep it that way, but I have to make some major ass changes, and so and it's so hard. And that's the other thing is it's so damn hard is making changes to your diet. Is that something we could talk about on this damn channel? Because would that be something that'd be interesting to people? Talking about having to make major changes to your life, like talking about how hard it is to change your diet, how hard it is to try to, make these lifestyle changes to try to exercise more or try to like cut the cake out and the candy out. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to talk about that with Alexis Milner because she's had some issues with it too. I'm gonna have her come back on in November. And yeah, yeah. Well, we can do that. See, that's the thing is that we don't have to with this channel. What kind of things are interesting to people? I mean, you have like I was talking like 15 minutes ago talking about. Oh yeah, you're from a family of diabetics. Yeah, well, just about everybody in this country above a certain age is pre-diabetic. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. All right. Well, I better get on with my my cleaning. Did I mention how much I hate housekeeping? I did. I ranted about that for a little while, and how much I love candy, and yeah. Yeah, well, we can talk about that. I like that topic too because I'm actually really good at I'm really good at that because I have a lot of knowledge about how to do that, how to eat well on a budget, and of course it does involve going to food banks. That's one of the ways you gotta if you have some pride in that way, you gotta like let go of a lot of your pride and go to a food bank, because that can really help stretch the dollars out a lot these days, especially when the cost of just living indoors is so high. All right, well, we can talk about this stuff later, and so maybe when I have Sarah on the next time, we can just talk about stuff. We don't have to talk about Reiki and stuff like that. We can just talk about life stuff and how hard it is. How hard it is, especially as we get older. Yeah, I get that. That's really hard to do, Tina. That's really hard to do. You know, your when your budgets are just so strained. When your budgets are super strained, yeah, it's really hard to do. All right, well, the mail is just coming now. Huh. All right, I'm gonna want to say thank you for the conversation on the side in the chat. I know there were several trolls that have come in here, but uh, their comments were completely filtered out because I have filtered out lots. I have lots of words that I don't allow in and yeah. So there's Angie, Coogie's, Tina, and Sarah. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for hanging out with me these 51 minutes. And we'll see all y'all the next time. I don't think I'm going to be on. I'm not going to be able to be on. Probably the next time I'll be on is like Thursday. Because there's nobody coming over Thursday, but there's people coming over tomorrow and Friday. And then that funeral's on Saturday. And yeah, funerals on Saturday. And then yeah. But we will try to work on having more higher quality content in November. But for now, it's just going to be low effort content, deer in the backyard, or me coming out into my front yard and ranting for like 55 minutes or so. Anyways, bye. Bye-bye. And thank you very much.